and really showed the love, and thus Joseph making his way up to Knoxville to play for the next 4 years and to represent the Tennessee Valley here very well. Other signings by Tennessee include Cedric Tillman, John Mincy, Trayvon Flowers, J.J. Peterson, and Current Garland, making the signings official today with their signatures. And congratulations to all those young men. I know that it is probably one of the most strenuous things that they are, as a young student athlete that have to decide upon. And, it's got to be very torturous at times. Which one do I go with? Choices are not always easy. But we've got a list here of a lot of area athletes that signed with colleges, whether they're local or whether they're away. And we'll go over those here. But it seemed like Bradley Central, the Bears, had the most that ended up signing. They had 8 out of all the area high schools in our area. A couple of them went to Shorter College, which, if I'm not mistaken, is over in Little Rock. Then there's Maryville that had a couple. Thomas More, Air Force, and Appalachian State, and UTC. And Jay Person will be heading to Appalachian State. Chris Cash, Air Force. Tyler Collier with Thomas More. Kevin Gentry and Adam Mullis will be going to Maryville. And Jeffrey Brewer and Jordan McElwain will be attending Shorter. And Lamerick Tucker, one of several athletes that will be going to Chattanooga to play for the Mocs in the 2018 season. He'll be joined by Soddy Daisy Trojan Ty Beck, who signed today. Wide receiver Jarvis Smith signed with Maryville. So Soddy Daisy getting 2 of their athletes signed to college commitments here today. Also, Ottawa Owls was quite busy today as well. They had 6 players that ended up making their commitments official to various schools. 3 individuals will be going to Lindsey Wilson, Zaire Bruner, an offensive lineman, Jalen Rogers, a linebacker, and offensive lineman Brandon Davis that will be going to Lindsey Wilson. Also, the College of the Cumberlands will be getting Jordan Campbell, an offensive lineman out of Ottawa. And then Jack Richards, a right tackle, will be going to BSC. And Andrew Manning, a wide receiver / defensive back, will be going to UTC. All right, the Howard Tigers had 6 individuals making commitments. And what was interesting, that there were 3 different colleges that were able to get a pair out of the 6. Rico Weaver and Sean Jackson are going to be going to Maryville College. Alex Hauser and Greg Pittman will be going to Arkansas Baptist. And Markill Finich and Antony McComb will be going to Hoking College. Cleveland had a few players. Keegan Jones, running back, will be going to Navy. Wide receiver Romeo Weichel will be going to Lafayette College and playing the Patriot League. And offensive linebacker Stutzman Logan will be going to Carson Newman, which has always had outstanding programs. And Macaulay has a UT walk-on Enrico Dozier. And in Middle Tennessee State was able to get the services of Jordan Starling to play for them in the upcoming season. But there were all kinds of signings going on. UTC, they're in the midst of having a National Signing Day party that's going on. Ty Beck and Ben Bruton Jr., Zach Fox, Josh Walker, Cameron Smith, Shandon Page, Dre Butler, Tavy McLean, Gabe Boring, Thomas Burks, and Genuine Potts, all making the commitments to play in Chattanooga this upcoming 4 years starting here in the fall. Georgia Bulldogs has Jordan Davis, Otis Reese, Quay Walker, Tyson Campbell that made commitments from the signing day. Alabama, Eddie Smith, Jalen Moody, and Patrick Surtain Jr. making their commitments official today. Now, here was one of the interesting things that I saw. Georgia has got the best recruiting class in the country today, at least according to Rivals and 247sports.com. And, Georgia was able to take away one of the Alabama Crimson Tide's commitments and flipped them prior to signing today. So Georgia and Alabama could really get to not like each other. I don't know if Kirby Smart is just outsmarting Nick Saban or what, but I'm sure that it's got to be irking Nick Saban a little bit, with this and getting that commitment that he had. You never count your chickens until they're hatched. Don't do like what happened in Indianapolis. Unfortunately, Josh McDaniels got wooed, swayed, persuaded to stay in New England. And as you heard with Val talking in the newscast, with one of the national sports stories, talking about McDaniels staying in New England, even after Indianapolis announced McDaniels is coming aboard. Matt Patricia, now the DC for the Patriots and their Super Bowl running up team, is the new coach at Detroit. That's done. All right. But with the Colts, they kind of jumped the gun. It was almost reminiscent of what happened, with Tennessee and Greg Schiano. And you just kind of felt bad for them. Tennessee, you did. Indianapolis, they should have known better until they actually had the signature. They didn't even have the signature. That was how bad it was. And so they're definitely doing some mop up on how to do a presser as far as, announcements and stuff like that. But 6 more Vols are heading to Knoxville. That increases the 2018 signing class to 20 newcomers. And new head football coach Jeremy Pruitt has got to be excited. He made the quote, "These guys are going to lay the foundation for the next 4 to 5 years. These are the guys that wanted to be a part of what we're trying to get done, and we're excited to have them." And there's 9 players from Tennessee. Georgia, there's 4. California, 3. Florida, South Carolina, Nevada, and Pennsylvania getting the rest of that contingent. So Pruitt and his staff signed 14 recruits, including 7 early enrollees during the early signing period in December. But Trayvon Flowers, defensive back out of Tucker High School in Georgia, Currit Garland, and a defensive lineman from Conyers Heritage High School. Emmett Gooden, a defensive lineman out of Brownsville, Tennessee, and Hayward High School, and he played a little bit at Independence Community College over in Kansas. John Mincy is a defensive lineman out of Homerville, Georgia, in Clinch County. J.J. Peterson out of Moultrie, Georgia, in Colquitt County High School. Cedric Tillman, a wide receiver out of Las Vegas and Bishop Gorman High School. And, these are not small individuals either. I mean, just looking at some of their stats. So it's really good to see Tennessee getting back on track. It's taking some time to do, but, it will come around. Tennessee football will be back in the spotlight, and they will do very well. Now, Georgia and Alabama, they have been battling for quite some time for getting a top class, and they've got a couple blue chip prospects, the Bulldogs, which could really help them out. Alabama's won 7 straight recruiting championships to go with those 5 national titles. Georgia and Kirby Smart, who was an assistant under Nick Saban, seen the formula and seen it work. And now he's got the top recruiting class in the country. Whether or not that takes shape or not, that'll be determined. Patrick Surtain Jr., cornerback out of Florida, whose father played in the NFL. LSU and Alabama were among his choices. And, Surtain making his decision to go to Alabama for the next 4 years at least. So, it's quite an experience, to say the least. So, National Signing Day, a big day. Washington welcoming home Georgia transfer quarterback Jacob Eason. He's going to be going to the Huskies. Eason was a 5-star recruit from Lake Stevens High School near Seattle. Signed with Georgia in 2016, started as a freshman, but injured his knee last season's opener, never could regain his starting job from Jake Fromm. And Georgia went to the national title game with Fromm, and soon after, Eason said he was transferring back home. Day before signing day in college football, Washington made it official with a tweet, and Eason will have a home that, will give him an opportunity maybe to be able to perform on a bigger scale. And maybe someday Washington and Georgia will end up meeting up somewhere along the way, and Fromm and Eason can battle it out on the gridiron one-on-one there. Let's see. In other news, number 15, Tennessee Vols edging number 24, Kentucky, 61-59. That was an interesting game, to say the least. And big 3-pointer with just under 30 seconds left in the game. Admiral Schofield followed with a dunk off of a turnover, and Tennessee edged out last night with that big win. It's their 6th consecutive victory. It's just really good. Tennessee basketball really doing well. The women are doing very well as well. So, Tennessee could be making a run, for a division title. You never know. It's still got a little bit of time. There's still a lot of basketball left. And, Tennessee trying to get its status symbol in the SEC in basketball. Rick Barnes has done an outstanding job there in Knoxville. All right. We encourage you to call in at 800-8949. That's 423-800-8949. And let's talk about National Signing Day, what your thoughts may be about it. Did you think that you would have seen some of the other schools maybe sign a few other local athletes? We had quite a bit of representation. Macaulay, I think, had about 6 altogether, but 2 that were very recognizable as far as with UT and Middle Tennessee State. Baylor, I know, had several, one of which went to Virginia Tech and other area schools. So we'll, have more on that here as the next day or so goes along. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking a little about racing as the NASCAR season's getting ready to get underway here this weekend with the Advanced Auto Parts Clash that will be going on. Also, preparations are getting underway for the Southern Conference Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. They will be played over in Asheville, North Carolina, and it'll be here before you know it. That will right at the end of the month in early March. Yeah, it's hard to believe we're already talking March. We're just into February, and it's like, we're starting to wind down on basketball, wrestling, and a lot of other things. But The Mocs basketball program, well, they are getting ready for the start of their season's home stretch. The Mocs are 8-17 overall, 2-10 in the SoCon. And, for being a young team, they've done pretty decent. I mean, really, I can see a lot of potential with these young men. They are the youngest Division I basketball program out there. And, they've got a couple upperclassmen that are on the team and everything. But I'm telling you what, sometimes you got to bite the bullet a little bit to get to the next level. So it will be trying this year, but I think it will be a lot better as the next couple seasons come along and stuff. McKindy, London, and Foreman, and Nat Dixon, and John Baptiste. They're just a lot of great players that are on that team that are going to be helping Coach Lamont Paris get to that next level and make UTC basketball very competitive. All right. Let's see here. Now, we were talking about the Vols getting the victory narrowly, but they got it. The Vols sweep of the Wildcats could impress voters enough to move them up in the rankings. They're 15th right now. Kentucky's loss means it must seek redemption at Texas A&M to stay ranked. Tennessee is going to be visiting Alabama on Saturday. Kentucky visits Texas A&M on Saturday. So huge game for both teams and a very close race. And I'm sure that Calipari at Kentucky really, has got to come up with some sort of solution here after getting beat by Tennessee. But, the tide is changing. But, Tennessee basketball looking good. UTC Mocs women's program. After talking with Coach Foster the other night, on Monday night, it was a pleasure to have him in studio and, see, the insight of where they're looking at heading in the future. They've got some very talented young ladies on the basketball team. And, hopefully we can be able to see the reaping the rewards of that productivity and that hard work that they've shown. Locally, let's take a look at some hoops. Locally, Hamilton Heights getting past McCallie to victory. Ensworth, they fell to Oak Hill in the McCallie Dr. Pepper 10 Classic. Let's see here. A lot of other great things that on the high school local scene. Just a lot of things locally in sports going on. Lee University, they are moving their softball game home opener with Lincoln Memorial from today to tomorrow at 2 and 4:30 p.m. Lee baseball team was originally scheduled to host St. Leo at Olympic Field this weekend, but will now travel down to Florida to play the Lions beginning Saturday at 1 with a doubleheader. The two teams will wrap up the series Sunday at 1 p.m. So that's according to Lee University with baseball and softball schedule changes. Also, Carly Seckinger, Lee women's tennis player, wasted little time in making an impact as she was named the Gulf South Conference first Freshman of the Week for 2018, according to the league office, announcing earlier today. We'll talk more about that and a whole lot more. You're listening to Sports Talk with Sam Jordan here on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4. Back with more in a moment. Stick around. Three, two, one.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
An Ottawa man is accused of calling 911, reporting a fire, just to get the fire department to help his cat. When first responders arrived on the scene, there was no fire. According to an arrest report, Trevor Lane called 911, said his house was on fire, so first responders would rescue his cat out of a tree. The call has landed him behind bars. A Michigan fugitive threatened a shootout in Dayton. It began with a shots fired call near Memorial Avenue. Officers found James Orcutt at the Scottish Inn on Highway 27. Over the phone, he told them he would not go back to jail without a shootout. But after surrounding the motel and blocking traffic, he was apprehended without incident. Orcutt was wanted in Michigan for a parole violation. The Sean Hannity Show, weekdays from 3 to 6 on Nooga Radio. Val St. John, Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, News Now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
$25 goes by quickly these days, and 25 cents still just a quarter. 25 is the years of experience Schultz & Associates puts behind filing your tax return. Quickly, correctly, and electronically. Schultz & Associates.
Hi, I'm Chip Chapman. The IRS set some special dates this year regarding filing your taxes. It all may make filing a little more confusing this year. The professionals at Schultz & Associates can answer your questions about multiple incomes, income from rental property, special circumstances involving your children or family. Call Schultz & Associates 899-1130 and arrange an appointment to work out the details of your tax return. Schultz & Associates, 6310 Bonnie Oaks Drive.
Baseball sluggers often wear the number 25, or 25 is a full MLB roster. Just happens 25 is also the years of experience Schultz & Associates puts behind filing your tax return quickly, correctly, and electronically. Schultz & Associates, 899-1130.
Oh, man, rush. I've got to get stuff for the party. Where can I go that's going to give me a wide selection of beer, wines, and spirits? Oh, I got it. I'll go to Harry's Wine and Spirits, Signal Mountain. Maybe East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd. I could go to Riley's Wines and Spirits in Hickson. Wow, look at the huge selection in here. Look at these great prices. Amazing. Oh, yeah, I'm going to find something for my lady, too. I'm going to make this party a success.
Make your party a success when you stop in at Harry's Wine and Spirits in Signal Mountain, East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd, and Riley's Wine and Spirits in Hickson. An automated nuclear missile defense system has suddenly entered into launch mode, and you are the only one who can stop it.
Escape Experience Chattanooga.
Your team has just been infected with a deadly virus. Your only hope? There, in an abandoned farmhouse.
Escape Experience Chattanooga.
Handcuffed in a maximum security prison, you have an hour to flee.
Escape Experience Chattanooga.
These escape scenarios and more at Chattanooga's best escape room game and team building platform. Call now. Slots are limited. Register online at escapeexperience.com/Chattanooga. Escape Experience Chattanooga.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair to partly cloudy skies to continue through your nighttime. Cold overnight, lows mid and upper 20s. Now for your Wednesday, look for some sunshine with a breeze out of the north, though. Light cold, highs up around 40 with more mainly dry and cold weather expected through Friday. Celebrate the new year with Dixieland Fireworks. Locally owned with the largest selection around. A Black Hat dealer with the lowest prices in Dixie. Dixieland Fireworks just off I-75 on Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Sworn Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
Nooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nooga Radio. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Sam Jordan's Nooga Radio, 92.7 Sports. Now.
Yes, it is. And good evening. Welcome to Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. Glad to have you along on this Wednesday night, February 7th. It was National Signing Day today with a lot of high schools in our area. We went over that list earlier. A lot of representation from Ottawa, Baylor, Cleveland, Howard, Soddy, Bradley, McCauley, you name it. And UTC getting quite a few recruits, added to the list of what they've already got. They had up to 20, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And we were talking about a freshman making an impact right away with Lee's women's tennis player Carly Sickinger being named the Gulf South Conference Freshman of the Week for 2018. So that's pretty amazing there. Congratulations to that young lady. The Lady Flames will be traveling to Carson Newman on Saturday with the first serve slated for 1 o'clock in that contest. She's out of Miamisburg, Ohio. Wow, she's a little ways from home, studying nursing. So, and also Lee's men's basketball guard, Michael McGuirk, has been named the Gulf South Conference Freshman of the Week for basketball, men's basketball. And he was also named the GSC Freshman of the Week back on December 7th. He's out of White Plains, Alabama. And he scored 12 points, hit a pair of threes, and grabbed 4 rebounds in their 82-74 loss to number 20 West Florida on Thursday. McGuirk and the Flames will look to get back in the win column this week as they currently hold the 8th and final spot in the GSC tournament with 5 games remaining, as Lee will be hosting Union tomorrow at 8 p.m. and Christian Brothers on Saturday at 4 p.m. So best of luck to the men's basketball team in their contest coming up tomorrow. Well, the UTC Mock softball team has had to change its travel plans because of the full slate of rain in the forecast for Monroe, Louisiana. They were slated to head down there to play, but instead they'll be going to Clermont, Florida to participate in the Dot Richardson NCSI tournament on Friday and Saturday to begin their 25th season. They will kick off their season against Morgan State at 1:30 on Friday before concluding the opening day doubleheader against Detroit Mercy at 6:30 p.m. So instead of playing 5 games in 3 days like originally scheduled at the Louisiana Monroe Invitational, they'll now play 4 games in 2 days. Okay, is that any better? Maybe, I don't know. It could be a little busy. Saturday's doubleheader puts the Mocs up against Liberty at 11 a.m. and Fairleigh Dickinson out of New Jersey at 4 p.m. Chattanooga open its home schedule next weekend with the Chattanooga Challenge running from February 16th through the 18th. Season tickets are on sale and available through the ticket office. Tickets can be purchased at gomox.com or calling 423-266-MOX for more information. All right. Yeah, the Detroit Mercy Titans are starting off their season, as well as Liberty Flames and Fairleigh Dickinson as the Mox softball team getting ready to open up their campaign. Now, the Mox basketball program will be getting underway with the Citadel. That will be at the Roundhouse, McKenzie Arena in beautiful downtown Chattanooga. The Mocs are 8-17 and 2-10 in the conference, whereas the Citadel is 9-14 and 4-7. So it's going to be a competitively good matchup between the Citadel and the Mocs. And, of course, our good friend Jim Reynolds, the voice of the Mocs, will be calling all the action on gomox.com or on TuneIn through Chattanooga Mocs. So make sure you check out that action as well. Tickets are available. As I said, you can call 423-266-MOX or 6627 during business hours there at the Roundhouse. The Mocs and the Bulldogs played one of their most exciting games of the Southern Conference slate back in January, losing 110-101 in Charleston. It was the first back-to-back overtime losses for UTC team that had been crushed with injuries. So hopefully they can get that turned around, and it'll be a great contest. If you get a chance, watch the Mocs. They are an outstanding team to enjoy. As I said earlier, with it being National Signing Day, there are signing parties going on, and UTC's having one. Got underway at 6 and still going on down at the Stadium Club there at Finley Stadium. Happy hour got underway at 5, and the program got underway at 6, and I'm sure that there are still people there, and free food while it lasts. So make sure you check out the excitement going on today. So, we mentioned earlier, a little over a week ago, UTC's football schedule has got a pretty good lineup on there. Tennessee Tech will be the home opener on August 30th. Then they'll hit the road for the Citadel and UT Martin before coming back home to host Stanford on September 22nd. And then they'll hit the road with East Tennessee State, one of their big rivals over in Johnson City. Wofford will come to town October 6th. The Mocs will hit the road to take on Western Carolina over at Cullowhee, North Carolina. Then VMI is in town on October 27th. Hit the road again with Furman over in Greenville, South Carolina on November 3rd. Mercer will be the last home game. That will be on November 10th in Chattanooga. And then a big contest with a trip to Columbia, South Carolina, and facing the South Carolina Gamecocks on November 17th. So big schedule in front of the Mocs, and Coach Tom Arth really excited about the signings that he has been able to accomplish here over the last couple months with the December early signing period, and with today's National Signing Day festivities. 20 Mocs that will be calling Chattanooga home for the next several years, and hopefully will be the start of the resurgence, the Phoenix rising here with the Chattanooga Mocs football program. But we still got a lot of basketball left too. So if you can get out there and support your Mocs basketball programs, the men's and the women's program, that would be great. Now, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. We've been talking a lot of local stuff, and of course, we try to get into the other regional sports that we have out there. And, football just ended with the Eagles defeating the Patriots, and the Patriots, I think are looking at an exit plan for Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, who is on his way out to take the head coaching job in Indianapolis. After the Colts made that preliminary announcement, and a couple hours later, McDaniel says, no, I'm staying in New England. Okay. 65-year-old Belichick may be thinking, well, I've won several of these. Maybe it's time to think about, exiting after another year, or maybe even before the start of, the offseason really gets going. So who knows? Maybe we'll hear more about that as we get a little closer. And Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, who kind of reminds you of the Ryan coach, not Rex Ryan, but his brother that was at Dallas for a long time as a defensive coordinator. Well, he's heading over to Detroit to take on the Lions and getting them back into the thrill of things. Detroit really hasn't been in the thick of things since they had Jim Schwartz there. Jim Caldwell couldn't do it after leaving Indianapolis and going up to Detroit to replace Schwartz. Schwartz, he's made a name for himself as the defensive coordinator at Philadelphia and helped the Eagles get to where they're at. But baseball is getting ready to get underway. The winter meetings went on in December, usually. January, everybody's starting to report, gradually down to Florida or over to Arizona. But the Atlanta Braves parted with veteran pitcher Bud Norris. They came on Thursday, the same day that the Dodgers had ace Clayton Kershaw will be placed on the 15-day disabled list because of a back injury. And the Dodgers also received minor league outfielder Dion Toscano, a player to be named in cash considerations from Atlanta for minor league pitcher Philip Pfeiffer and Caleb Dirks. So, that's something the Braves, did in 2016. They're hoping that that hasn't hurt them as far as making a move like that. And Atlanta, who's always had great pitching, is looking to get back into that winning form that they've always enjoyed. I really, my favorite team, is the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Cardinals, haven't really got to follow that closely because of the fact, I was up in the Northeast, and, it's Philly and Pittsburgh that you always hear about. And, with that, got an opportunity to follow, St. Louis a little bit more. So, I'm going to try to do that. The Braves, even though they're nearby and everything, they've been sort of down lately. But I really am excited about the opportunity of catching some Chattanooga Lookout baseball. The Lookouts have got a storied history, and I think it will be an outstanding time to go and catch some of those games there at AT&T Field. And if you get an opportunity, we encourage you to go and check it out as well. Minor league baseball is probably one of the best that you could really truly enjoy, without a doubt. And I've been able to follow minor league baseball. I actually, back in the 80s, broadcast AA minor league baseball in the Texas League. And been able to follow the New York Penn League for a number of years, the Eastern League. And, it's just minor league baseball gives you that intimate feel. When you're watching high school games, like high school football or high school basketball, you just feel that authentic, personal relationships that you get with, following the athletes and stuff. And, for the last several years, I've had the opportunity of working with, College Woodbat League up in Jamestown, New York. Being their PA announcer and stuff for a number of years. And it just gives you that, great feeling. I mean, you could talk to the players, they're not bottled up where they can't, have conversations with the fans. And that's what gives the intimacy, about, fans really enjoying the game like it's meant to be. So, if you get that opportunity, go and check out the mocks, or, in basketball right now and wrestling, softball getting ready to get underway here very shortly. But minor league baseball season will be here before we know it. Typically April is when baseball really gets underway. The lower level leagues, the rookie leagues and the short season A's and the A's, usually don't get underway until around May or June. But, with AA and AAA baseball and stuff, and with the Lookouts being where they're at, there'll be a lot of great baseball action to go and catch. And the intimacy that you can also find over at AT&T Field has got to be an outstanding thing as well. So we encourage you to. There is a lot that you can enjoy outdoors wise, whether it's sports, with Ironman competition, you've got all kinds of hiking, biking, running events, you've got beautiful Chickamauga Lake. That is one outstanding lake. I was down to visit, I guess, about 4, maybe 5 years ago, with the radio station, because the owner and I, we've been friends since 1994, and he wanted to show off, his radio station, and was showing me around the area and everything. It's like, man, this is gorgeous. Just a lot of great things that are abound for people to enjoy here in the Chattanooga and Tennessee Valley area. So, if you get that opportunity, take advantage of it. I mean, it's just really an outstanding opportunity to enjoy the great sports that is offered, with the colleges that are around us: Covenant, Lee, Cleveland State Community College, Chat State, UTC. Of course, you got the bigger ones up at Knoxville and just that surround us. But, with the other spring sports and summer sports that are also available, it's just really outstanding. But Cleveland State, they're getting ready to start their softball campaign on Friday. They are going to be playing in the GHC border battle with East Georgia State College, Georgia Highlands College, and Shelton State Community College. So evidently they got a triple header going on, and that will be going on at the GHC border battle. And then they'll be back in action on Sunday, the 18th, at West Georgia Technical College. And the 27th, they'll be at Snead State Community College. And in their first home series will be on March 2nd and 3rd with Roan State. So then they will continue on their season until the end of April 27th and 28th, when they're on the road at Jackson State. But their last home series will be on the 20th and 21st of April with Dyersburg State as their last home matchup. So a lot of softball action getting ready to get underway. And, of course, you got Little League that will start popping up here before you know it. I'm hoping to be able to land an umpiring gig here and there, because I've done Little League. I've umpired at the Little League World Series complex, and, been a part of Little League and Babe Ruth and ASA for a number of years as an umpire, and want to get back into that as well. But just a lot of great sports that's available here in the area, in the Chattanooga and Tennessee Valley areas. But as we said, big signing day today. A lot of local athletes, Ottawa, Bradley, McCauley, Baylor, having quite a few that signed up. Oh, also Covenant baseball team's weekend series against Emory has been adjusted. Teams will now play a doubleheader, 2 7-inning games on Friday starting at noon at Lookout Mountain. Game 3 of the series is still scheduled for Saturday, but could be moved to another date because of the extreme wet conditions that are on its way for the weekend. So, with that being said, don't forget Sunday, Vance Auto Parts Clash will be going on at Daytona, part of Speed Weeks. The 15th will be the Can-Am Duels. We'll have that for you here on Nooga Radio. At least I believe they will be on. And then the 18th will be the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, here on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4. I'm sure that Keon will be talking about the National Signing Day with the various sports teams on the college level with Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. I really love it that Georgia was able to get a flip from Alabama. I just think that was great. They were able to do that with a Michigan player that had committed, and they were able to get one from Alabama. So Kirby Smart outsmarting the old Fox and Nick Saban. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more to talk about that. But the Clutch with Keon Rose is coming up here in just a few moments, right after CBS World and National News. And he'll be with you with the Clutch. Till tomorrow, have a great evening and stay safe.